Welcome all tricksters and poindexters to the new What's New in the Eshop series. In this new series, I'm going to showcase what I think are some of the best looking Eshop games coming out this week. I'll start with the highlights, and then I'll add a little sizzle reel with some of the other games coming out. First game I wanted to talk about is Aztech Forgotten Gods. Looks like a really cool action-adventure game. To me, it kind of looks like a combination between maybe like a 3D Legend of Zelda and a game like Shadow of the Colossus. It sort of takes place in this sort of Mesopotamian alternate reality. So you're this young woman taking on these colossal forgotten gods. There's not a whole lot in the description about what the story is. I imagine they're trying to leave that, as a surprise. But it's undoubtedly visually looks amazing, especially for a Switch game, especially for a Switch eShop game. Those amazing visuals, though, are definitely coming at a price. It is $29.99. That is pretty expensive for an eShop game. It's always pretty difficult for me to make the jump at that price, so I might be waiting for a sale, but I think you should definitely at least wish list this and keep it in mind for the future. So that is Aztech Forgotten Gods. Alright, so I think the next notable indie game coming out is Grand Mountain Adventure Wonderlands. Sort of a top-down skiing and snowboarding game. Looks very relaxing. It says it has like an open world area you can explore, and of course all kinds of challenges and things like that. The graphics, considering it's a top-down view, are really gorgeous. I'd really like to try this one out. It reminds me a lot of Lonely Mountains Downhill, which is sort of a meditative yet also challenging sort of casual type of sport game. So they both kind of look like they share maybe a similar DNA. But again, for whatever reason, there's a lot of pricey games this week, and this one is asking a pretty hefty price of $34.99. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not it can actually justify such a price. Again, wish list that game, maybe keep it in mind for a sale. But I think partially the developers know that there's basically like no good snowboarding games on the Switch, so maybe they know they can fetch that price. But it does look really beautiful, so make sure you check out Grand Mountain Adventure Wonderlands. All right, so the next game that looks really good to me is Time Loader. It's a story-driven physics game. You are sending a robot back in time to prevent some sort of tragic accident, if I'm understanding what the plot is correctly. Looks really beautiful, though, very nostalgic looking. Looks like the game all takes place in the 90s, so if you're a kid of that era, you should be right at home. I do know that the PC version came out last year. I believe it has a 79 on Metacritic, some pretty darn good reviews. So I think this one's probably a good solid buy, even if you want to jump in kind of blind. This is one of the games that I'm planning on getting, so maybe you'll see me do a little quick look of it next week. It's at a very reasonable price, I think, of $14.99, so it's not going to break the bank like the other games. So make sure you check out Time Loader on the Nintendo Switch on March 10th. All right, so the last game I want to bring to your attention, also coming out on March 10th, is Young Souls. To be completely honest, I didn't even know this game existed. I was just kind of thumbing through the eShop upcoming games, looked at it last week, and I thought, wow, this game looks really beautiful. It's apparently a beat 'em up with RPG mechanics, so there's going to be lots of leveling up, lots of gathering new loot, weapons, outfits, that sort of thing. The story follows these two orphans who were adopted by a scientist, and this scientist goes missing, and they find out that he has this portal, and they travel through this portal to this parallel world, trying to track him down and fight off all these baddies. Looks like it's got a real rich story. The graphics, again, are absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to try this one out. This is the game I'm most excited for next week, so I think you should definitely check out Young Souls. Again, for whatever reason, this week is a week of good-looking yet pricey indie games, and Young Souls is $24.99, so not as expensive as those first two, but it's still not cheap. I think for me, I'm still going to check it out at that price. I think it looks really great. Looks like it's going to scratch that itch perfectly for me. Honestly, I even like crappy beat 'em up, so if you give me a beat 'em up that's quality, add in a bunch of cool upgrades and RPG mechanics, and I'm going to be in heaven. So I am definitely checking out Young Souls on March 10th. All right, so check out this sizzle reel for a few more games coming up. All right, so those are the games coming out this week. A week of really solid looking, yet pretty darn pricey indie games. But there is a lot in there for fans of multiple different genres, so I think you're going to find something you like. I don't know, maybe you'll just have to fish around on your couch for a little extra money to pay for these games. Make sure to let me know down in the comments what you think looks really good and you might be picking up. All right, so until next time, I hope you have some great gaming. See you later, tricksters. Bye-bye.